So welcome back to Blank Space, where this episode is on inspiring others with founders. And we have our founder, which is Shane. Shane, thank you so much.
Welcome.
And Shane has a business called ONDA Plus.
ONDA Plus,
ONDA Plus, where they have 29 NHS National Institution of Health and Care Research Expressions of interest within the first 3 months, which is insane. And this is a startup, and this is what Shane's going to be currently going to be working on. And Shane, I wanted to know more about your upbringing. I know you're a founder, and I know that you're doing business, and you've done other businesses, you've sold other businesses, and you're now focusing on your current business. But take me back to your brain for when you were younger, and everything to do with your upbringing, and what was your childhood like growing up?
My childhood was good. I had I had the best upbringing with my parents, where my family were very supportive, very loving. My sister was fantastic. She taught me a hell of a lot as a kid. I was reading, I was remembering books. So instead of me reading the actual thing, I'd remember, like,
What do you mean?
remembering the book itself.
Yeah.
So instead of reading it out, I'd be reciting it off memory.
Oh, yeah?
And then she's like, "What's that word?" And I'm like, and then she realized I wasn't actually reading it, but I was remembering what she was reading. But she used to teach me a lot. I used to be glued to the computers.
Oh, yeah? Young
PlayStation
age.
and stuff, Commodore 64 and Game Boys and stuff like that. But I also used to play with a lot of like bricks. So I used to build like different buildings with bricks. But I'd also put like a long line of dominoes. So build that up into a big thing around the house. And then you knock one over and watch it all go down. So that was something I used to do a lot. Just random things like that. I used to play a lot. Friends.
Is that like when you did this? Is this like an early memory that you have of like childhood? Is this also with other people, or like is this something that is like an early memory for you, like when you were growing up?
That was an early memory. I wouldn't say it's the earliest, but it was an early memory that's something I used to do actively. I used to collect like little machine cars, like toy cars, and have them in displays and stuff.
Is that in London, by the way?
This is in Leicester. I grew up in Leicester most of my life. Yeah. So I was born in Croydon. Yeah. Lived in Leicester literally the majority of my life. Then moved to London the last couple of years, say 3 years ago.
And when you were growing up, what was the connection like with your family? Who were you living with, and like what was the relationship like?
Yeah, mom, dad, sister. I mean, relationship was great. I mean, we're working class, but I never felt I wanted for anything. I feel like my parents did a great job of that and for being there. I just feel like I always had a craving to learn. I always wanted to learn certain things, and the libraries that were near me didn't necessarily have the books available, and the internet wasn't a big thing back then. It was like dial-up modem, and it was just a real interest and curiosity to want to learn about specific things. I think I just started to. I remember some of my early memories. For example, like there were a lot of family gatherings. We've got a big family, being Indian. Loads of aunts and uncles and grandparents, uncles, aunts, and whatever. So I always used to speak to elders and just ask questions, just learn. And that's one thing I've always done. I've always just been curious to like learn more about things that I wasn't aware of or that I didn't know about. So
do you feel like you learning and wanting to like learn things? I'll get some water as well, actually.
Yeah, sure.
No, I've got this one here.
Cheers.
Nice one. So you wanting to like learn, and you always being curious and asking questions to like people that you've grown up with, has that been a reason why you've created businesses, do you think? Or like, is there any relation to you doing that and making businesses?
I think so. I think being naturally curious or inquisitive, that's a big thing that helps people naturally develop, because if you're curious about things, you're going to ask questions, you're going to try and learn about it. And the more you ask questions, okay, you may appear foolish at the start when you don't know anything about it, but that's how we learn, right? So ask questions and be inquisitive. And I think by having them traits, I would say across the board with founders or people that start businesses, entrepreneurs, I think they have that element as well. I think it's a spark of that because, I mean, so I was at Ideas Fest last year, and there was one of the talks that took place I missed, but someone told me that this is what happened, that they said, oh, how many people, by show of hands, how many people have ADHD? And there was a lot of people. And then they said, how many people didn't raise their hands but think they have ADHD? And the rest of the room put their hands up. So effectively, I think being curious and inquisitive is a big part of it, but also I think, I'm not saying you have to have ADHD. I'm not saying I do.
Have ADHD and then you have a business.
Yeah, it helps because you can spin a lot of plates at the same time, because your mind is there's always thoughts going through your mind. There's always ideas, and it's hard to harness everything. But I think I probably do have ADHD, by the way, self-diagnosed. But I think by having something like that, where your brain is able to manage or be mindful of so many different factors or elements of the business, that you can keep them going, you can keep the cogs turning. And I wouldn't know any different by not, by having a different brain. But I think evidently in society, I think it goes like the vast majority of business owners have ADHD. I think that's a big trait, but I think the curiosity has to be a part of it. It has to be wanting to solve a problem. So this is kind of linked. It's like when you start a business, you can be a me too. You can do something comparable against something else, but do it in a different way or do it at a better level of quality, or solve a problem that's never been solved before, or tackle an issue in a different fashion. And I think we just have that, I guess, in common of wanting to tackle a problem, but also being creative as well.
It's always been like that as well, Shane.
Wanting to solve problems.
As in, like, you being inquisitive, growing up, would you say that you've always kind of known that you want to start businesses, or did you ever have a period where you weren't necessarily like that and you had to change your life? Or like, what is your...
I'd say 100%. I'd say I definitely wanted to do businesses as I was a kid. My dad had a sign manufacturer, well, two sign manufacturer businesses. So I always grew up kind of wanting to run businesses or to start businesses. But I also had...
What age roughly, sorry?
I'm just a kid, like 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I always wanted to run businesses. I always had it. There were always different things that I wanted to do, like computer programming and all these different things on the surface. But I always knew I wanted to run businesses. That was something I wanted to achieve. But I think being that way is just part of who I am. Like, I just couldn't switch it off. I was always I was very able at school. My grades basically started off really high and then constantly went down because I was just constantly as I got older, because I wasn't necessarily challenged, wasn't interested. But
so it was different because you weren't interested.
But also a common trait was that I would always be asking, well, why? Like, for me to do or don't do something, well, I need to know the rationale. Why is it that you told me not to do that? And it's not that I'm challenging, it's that I want to understand. The better I can understand, the better I can then put myself in their shoes and think, okay, well, this is why, so avoid doing this, this, and this, because they're kind of linked. Whereas if you just say, oh, just don't do that, well then, where's the line? Like, is it don't do that and nothing else similar to that, or
so like, it's like that's what's making you like inquisitive.
Yeah,
so it's like that side of you is
it's rationale. Like, I want to understand the logic. I want to understand the reasons of why and how things work, how things are connected. And I guess that's kind of why. So I was always told, I guess, when I was young, that if I didn't go to university, I'd probably be a failure, because everyone above me or cousins-wise and whatever were...
Is that like family, friends?
Yeah, family especially. And
they wanted you to go to uni?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say my parents wanted to, but it was more like uncles, aunts, grandparents, and I guess, the social sphere of family and whatever. So I guess my mother always said, look, you can do anything you put your mind to. You can do anything you want. And I guess I took that to heart and did everything. I've
really
did so many different jobs, so many different industries, glamorous, non-glamorous. And I think from doing that, I've learned so much. Because in a business, if you look at, let's say, a supermarket, for example, right? You've got the person on the cashier. They know how to do their cashier job. They may not know how to do inventory, stock, replenishing stocks. They may not know, they may not have to do a number of different things, but they know that job. And in a business, if, say, a massive portion of people in a different division aren't able to come into work or whatever, there's no one else that can replace them. So it's like there's all these different areas of a business that connect together to make that business function and make it a profitable business and operate and provide jobs and security and whatever, right? And a product and service, or products and services. But ultimately, somebody is overseeing that whole operation, and they understand A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and how it all connects together, and how important and how vital every single part is really to each other.
So like with like when you started your first business, and when you got to that point where, so you're younger, Shane is younger, you get to your next business, and then you get to your next one, and you try so many different things. What is the number one characteristic trait of you, or experience, in fact, let's say experience, what's the most profound experience in your life, positive or negative, that has pushed you towards wanting to do and create businesses? And really think, it could be positive or negative. Really think about that.
So there's a few things, but I think always for me, the most significant thing that makes me believe that there is more is the car crash that I was in. And I always mention this, or always refer to it, but it is something that was so significant. It completely changed my perspective on life. Like, on 20th of January 2009, I shattered this arm, got severe brain damage, was in a coma.
Brain damage?
Yeah, I lost my speech, my confidence, all the movement of this arm, and the hand as well. I was a real lamb. I was so shy, so unconfident. I had a stutter.
Before this happened or after?
Yeah, 20th of January 2009. When that happened, it changed me completely. I was in coma for a day. I was in hospital for a month. They put me in for 3 months, so I recovered pretty well. And then it was like a 2-year recovery.
Is the 2-year recovery just physical, or is that also mental?
To be fair, 2-year recovery as in off work, a year and a bit off work. Really and truly, the recovery mentally and physically went on for a long time, or a very long time. It's hard to pinpoint how long, and it's hard to pinpoint if that was ever truly over, because I had to teach myself to speak phonetically. So I would break down that task. I had to teach myself how to remember things, because I'd forget what I was saying every 5-10 seconds. So you would literally need to remind me how to finish my sentence because I'd forgotten what I was saying. So I guess because of addressing each challenge, that's how I'd see it. I see it as a challenge. Each problem I had, I'd isolate that, treat it as a challenge, and then gamify it. It's kind of what I'm doing with ONDA Plus, really and truly. But gamify that and improve my cognitive function, whether it's memorizing, whether it's using my arm again, whether it's speaking, whatever it is.
So you're using that to push towards your next.
Yeah, so that event effectively, that changed my perception on what it is to live. We can wake up and just, I guess, slog through the day and just not really, it's a blur, right? Nothing significant happened, and it was just a day, like a mash of other days that basically all look the same if you compare them. And that as a life isn't a life, because it's like Zig Ziglar used to say, you don't die with the music still in your ears, it's still within you. We've all got a gift, we've all got a purpose. We've all got something we have to give back to the world, to others. And if anything, you know, much like what you guys are doing with this, without giving it back to others, without taking the risk and trying, you're kind of being selfish by keeping that to yourself in a way as well. Because we're all created in God's image, right? We're all incredibly capable beings, right? Phenomenally capable, but the vast majority of us feel very complacent and not ambitious, and just happy just staying in the rigmarole of work and TV and whatever. But then all they'll do is complain about it. But if you're not gonna change it, who's gonna change it, right? So when I was in hospital, I was reading what people were thinking on their deathbeds and this and that and the other. And it's relationships, it's living your life to the full, doing as much as you can while you're here. Life is short, right? Life's very short, right? 100 years plus or minus. It's a short spell of time. Okay, it's long, a day can drag out, but really and truly that life is pretty short. So what do you want to achieve in this lifetime? What do you want to be remembered for? What impact do you want to have on people, on the planet? What's your purpose? And no one else knows your purpose but yourself. And an uncle of mine actually...
quickly ask you actually, why were you looking at what people were saying on their deathbeds?
Because I nearly died like 4 or 5 times in that crash. Oh. It was really, really bad. I mean, let me show you this actually. Yeah. Because it's puts things into perspective a little bit.
Holy shit. Oh my days.
Got 19 screws and a metal plate in here.
Oh my god.
It was broken here and here, I guess.
Coming out.
Yeah. Oh so I had staples all holding that all together.
Oh my days, like really. Oh wow.
Yeah, and even just flattening down the scar, I used to wear a silicone band and have a silicone pad holding it like on there to soften it up, and then like a wrist wrap, a sleeve.
It's like do you mind if I just solid here as well?
Yeah.
It's like I know you can't feel this like through here, but if you had to feel that is solid, like that is hard.
Yeah. So they grafted it, and then I'd have this thing around my arm.
That's your badge.
Yeah, it's my badge of honor. Like, it's my stripes, and I'm proud of it. Like, without going through this, I wouldn't know what I'm really capable of. So I'll give you another quick one, right? So I'll come back to the thing with my uncle as well in a moment. But I did Tough Mudder 3 times.
I appreciate you showing me that.
No, that's all good. I did Tough Mudder 3 times.
You did what, sorry?
Tough Mudder. It's like an SAS designed assault course, like 13 to 15, 16 kilometers or something, with like loads of different obstacles in between. And I did one of them. Then the car crash happened. And I did 2 more after it. I'm pretty sure it was 2 of them afterwards. And I didn't train for the 3rd one. I just went and did it. And not only was I pushing forwards and excelling the group forward, but I'd always be slowing down and helping the people at the back to catch up. So I'm always going, activity-wise, I'm doing more than everybody because I'm going forwards and backwards. And I did that in every single one. And in spite of not training, I had the plate and everything in the arm, but in spite of not training, my mind was able to dictate what my body did. So I believe the spirit, mental, physical, that's the priority, that the hierarchy I place them in, because the spirit is eternal.
What do you really mean by that?
So our spirit is eternal. Like who we are is not the physical being, but the energy. I'm Hindu, right? Believe in reincarnation and things like that. And the mental, so the spirit is eternal. That's your being. The mental is your brain, but then your brain will dictate what your body does. So it was mind over matter, basically. I wanted to test myself that if I don't train or anything, am I still physically capable? And it's your self-talk. It's what you say to yourself, like, are you gonna win or are you gonna lose? And is this the battle you wanna fight? I'll bring it back to the...
So it's all mental.
Yeah, everything's all mental. Like, but that comes again, it's spiritual as well. You've gotta have that sort of like, it's the Holy Trinity. You need that. You need all 3 essentially.
So that was like in your mind when you're doing that assault course, basically, and then also in hospital. Like, what was it? How did all of that make you feel when you were in hospital and you thought that you might have could have died? Like, what was that like for you mentally? And
that month in hospital. First of all, grateful. Seriously grateful for the support I had. I had a huge amounts of people coming to visit. The first day after the accident, I had over 100 people come to the hospital. So it was incredibly emotional, especially for my family. You know, God forbid, you know, they went through such a bad time back then. Much like everybody at that was supporting us, but you know, for me it felt there's a bigger purpose, there's a bigger meaning behind this, as in it was troubling because you're thinking the doctors and all the medical staff are saying, look, you know, you've basically peaked at 20 years old. You know, I was making good money. I'd bought a BMW at 19. I was making really good money at British Gas. But then being told that, you know, essentially, effectively, you're not going to be able to speak properly. You're not going to be able to use your arm. Your memory's going to be bad. You know, you've lived and you're recovering pretty well, but that's it. So it was really complex emotions because you've been told that your life's over and you're going to need help for everything again. And I don't know, for someone like me, I find that incredibly hard to believe that I'm 20 years old. Nearly, that was in January. My birthday's in April. So I never nearly had a 21st birthday. And it's like, I just can't believe that. I can't believe that. Like, so it was about 2 years after the crash happened that I was in Geneva in the World Trade Center working in finance. And I turned out to be pretty good at it after some time. And then I then went on to be a consultant at 23 with a competitor. And I was their first consultant of Global Client Services division. And yeah, so
you've had like a journey that's always pushing you more and more and more and more. Yeah. I feel like a lot of it came from the car crash. I can't speak for you, but I feel like a lot of it came from the car crash. And then now you running your own business.
Yeah.
So that is, it's a very personal thing to you. And that is something that no one really, really fully understands but you. I mean, I wasn't sitting in that bed. You were sitting in that bed.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you were talking about reincarnation. It's a bit, I'm just imagining if I had to come back as something, it'd be funny if I was like an ant or something. Like, came back as an ant. If you had to come back, I know I'm kind of switching it, but like what do you think you would be coming back as?
Hard to say. I mean, I've never really given it much thought. It's really hard to say. Who knows? It probably depends on my karmic account, what good I do on the world. But I couldn't imagine what better it could be than to be myself. Yeah, I wouldn't. There's nothing I ever want to be more or less of. I mean, what would actually be cool? This is probably a better answer. Something that could fly or that could swim. That would be amazing. If you could, you know, live freely in that respect.
Like an eagle or something.
An eagle, yeah, falcon.
Yeah. So Shane, what's your relationship like with your partner?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's. I guess it's what I always dreamed of. The perfect relationship. And then nothing's perfect in life, right? But someone who.
We're talking about a romantic partner, by the way.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like my wife, someone that believes in me, someone that supports me, that I'm able to support, and it's like I water her, she waters me sort of relationship. I guess real yin yang sort of relationship. So we're very different, but we have so many similarities. We met in the Web3 world, in crypto, NFTs and stuff. So we had a common interest: art, NFTs, blockchain, crypto, and I mean, we just complement each other so well. We get along with each other's family so well. Our families love each other so much.
What's like the biggest, like what is something that she is doing right now that is, I mean, what is the biggest thing that you recognize about your wife? If you could put it down to one thing, what is the biggest thing that you really value about your wife?
Her attitude or her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the most loving, most beautiful soul. Like just such a admirer of life. Like so, we moved into a house recently from Canary Wharf. So we moved out of London, and first thing she's doing is getting bird feed and feeding the birds outside.
Oh wow.
And now but every day we have birds in our garden and stuff, right? But this was literally one of the first things. And just things like that, we're members of the wetlands, we're members of Kew Gardens. She loves animals of all kinds and creatures of all kinds, flowers, nature in general, everything. Just someone who admires and appreciates life. Has such a kind, considerate heart. I mean, these are things that I guess you'd want from a partner, I guess, in generally in life, right? For me, it was just very, very strange how serendipitous and everything it was that I wrote down when I was on a trip in Naples, my dream partner, and the NFT world essentially introduced me to someone as a friend. We were friends for years.
So you wrote this down?
Yeah, I wrote on a trip I spent in Naples. I wrote down essentially 95% of what is her.
Hell.
Literally.
How do you think that even happened?
God's great.
Yeah. That's
God's
quite
great.
a good way.
God's
That's
great.
a good way to put it.
Yeah, God's great. Life's beautiful, but you gotta have belief. You gotta believe in the impossible. I mean,
You've been through the impossible.
I've lived the impossible so many times. So the accident happened. I mentioned I worked in finance in Geneva. I worked in dental sales. I worked in medical device sales, selling devices to patients while they're to doctors while patients are on the bed in interventional cardiology, neuroradiology, and vascular. I worked in a tech studio, and then I became a manager within 2 months. And now I'm building something that's never been done before. That's gonna have the potential to help millions, if not billions, of people. It's like these are all extremely rare occurrences to happen for anybody. But I've done all of them.
And you really believe in it feels like you really, really believe in what you're doing, and then your experiences. Like I said before, I've pushed you to that. I'm going to ask you one last question, and my last question to you is: for someone that's going to start a business, what is the number one characteristic trait that you think that they should have, and one thing that they should look out for?
Hard work. If you've not got a good work ethic, then you're never going to do anything. So that's the first thing that has to count, that you're willing to do the work.
And a thing to look out for?
You've got to be open to learning. You can be open to failing. And not necessarily failing. Failing is a bad word, because failing, I wouldn't say I've ever failed. I've had setbacks, I've learned, I've pivoted, I've not failed. So I think attitude is everything. Attitude defines your life. If you've got a good attitude, you have a good life. If you have a bad attitude, you're gonna have a bad life. So a few things there that I think for anyone that's gonna run a business, they gotta work hard. There's no work-life balance, so to speak, unless you can earn it or hire people, but it takes a lot of work. And you're gonna have a lot of pushback. You're gonna be alone a lot. So have that strength within, speak kindly to yourself, pray. If you're not religious, pray anyway. It has an impact whether you believe it or not.
There's a lot of mental stuff there. So anyone that's starting, anyone that's starting, you have to have that mental strength. Keep pushing, keep believing in yourself, and don't stop. Don't stop for nothing. Not stop for anything. Shane, thank you so much.
No, you're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.